This is a tutorial on how to make your own VHS style cassette for your Casio watch. Specifically the Casio Ripley A100 or the Casio Back to the Future CA500 or CA53. So what we need is a cutter or hobby knife, a straight edge ruler, preferably metal, this is aluminium, and some glue. This is B7000, it's flexible and it doesn't dry instantly, so you can move the pieces around and get them in the right place. The template comes in two sizes, standard A4 size and standard US letter size. For printing you'll need cardstock. 300 grams per square meters is a good cardstock weight. You can easily find it and most home printers can print on it. I don't have any experience in papercraft, so I made quite a few mistakes. So I like to talk about them a little bit so you can avoid the mistakes that I made, right? So now, first mistake is I was not very careful with the glue I used. And you can see, like right here and in a few other places, I have some glue here. So one of the mistakes I made is that I wasn't really careful with the glue, right? I wasn't paying attention to it, and it looks a bit dirty in a few places. When you fold the inner tray, make sure you stay as close as possible to the blue edges, because you might fold it a little bit longer and it won't fit properly inside the box. If you're careful, you can refold it, you can make it smaller, and it will fit. And if it comes off with your watch, you can just glue the tray in place. You can glue it to this side or at the bottom, at the top. Do not glue it on this side. This side moves up and down while you close it and you open it. It moves up and down, so this one needs to be free. So don't glue it to this side. Glue it to this side, or glue it to the bottom, or glue it to the top if you want the tray to be fixed. Now another problem you might encounter is this flap right here. In my case, this fold was a little too long, and I had to cut a bit of it from here, just a bit, because it was too big and it would interfere with the tray. So if it's a bit too long on one side or on the other, you just take your knife that you use to cut it and just cut a little bit out of it. Another problem that you may encounter is this fold right here. It's very difficult to actually glue it to the fold inside, to the fold on this part, because you don't have anything to press against, right? And when you press it from here, that fold just moves inside instead of getting stuck to this case. So to fix this one, what I did, I used my cutter blade and I slid it right in here, right behind the fold on the back. And then I pressed it against the blade. I pressed my finger against the blade like this. And this way you can get a little bit of leverage and you can get the glue to stick to the bottom of the case, right? If it doesn't stick properly with the glue that you use and it opens up, just take a bit of Superglue and put it inside there. Once it's dry, it won't come apart again. Another thing that I forgot that I wanted to try is to put a magnet inside here, right at this edge, to glue a magnet on the inside of the paper right here, and to glue a very thin metallic strip inside the cover here, right at the edge. And then when you close it down, the magnet would keep it closed. When cutting, the easiest way to do it is to always cut on the same side of your dominant hand, the one you cut with. So that's the first thing. Always cut on the side of your dominant hand. You don't want to cross your hand and try to cut like this. You might have a little accident and cut yourself. So always cut on the side of the ruler of your dominant hand, right? It's better to move around your paper than to make a mistake. That will cost you. The second thing is, it's much easier to see the edge if you cover the printed part and go towards the white part of the paper, right? Just closer and closer until you see a very, very fine edge. And then you know that's where you need to cut. If you go the other way, from the white paper to the printed part, right, you go like this, you don't really see where the edge is. Once you start covering the printing, you don't really see the edge. The third tip is to always push the tip of the blade inside of the paper first. You pick the starting point, you push your blade in, and then you pull. Push the blade in, and then you cut. When you are at an edge like this one, you don't need to push it in. You just start from the outside of the paper and slide it over, like this. Just cut on the black lines. Here, on this edge, a better idea is to not cut this one before you bend it. You bend it first, and then you cut this slit in it. So just the black lines. The same thing here. Just cut on the black lines. We're going to try a new method today of bending this paper, see if we get better results than the last time. So what we need is a sharp edge, like this sharp edge of the desk, to keep the paper from sliding around here. I added some double-sided tape dots here and put my finger on it to make it less sticky. We align the edge exactly with this line over here. Okay, press it a bit so it's stuck to the double-sided tape. Make sure the ruler is in line with the edge of the desk. Then we should use something straight to push it down with. Let's try with this one. Okay, that looks much better already. This way we get a much better straight edge than we did with the last method we used. This is much better. Let's do the next one. Good. Let's keep going. It works well. This is much better. The ink, it still cracks a bit, but nowhere near as bad as this. You see? It's much better. The double-sided tape here really helps. So when you do this sort of 90-degree angle, don't push it all the way, just slightly bend it until you get a relatively 90-degree angle. Here's a bit tricky because we need to put the crease, the bend right here in the middle, right in the middle of this very thin line, thin gray line, right? There's a black line here and there's a black line here. And right in the middle, in between them, we need to put a crease. We just bend it in the middle, all the way. You can use the box to make it straight. And this crease right here, usually we can use this one as a guide. Good. With this one, we should bend it all the way this way and all the way the other way too. Good. This is great. Good. make sure you don't fold the flaps too much on the inside. Let them have a bit of tension that pushes them on the outside. It looks to be better if you do it with something. Use this to also bend it. Okay, this is much better. Look at this. I'm gonna show you the difference here. See how everything is cracked here and nothing is cracked here. This method is so much better. Okay. Now, how do we do it here? I could probably just bend it. Maybe use this one as a guide, I'm not sure. You can use the edge of the ruler, the other side, and fill it with your fingers. Yeah, this is a good idea. This works. This works fine. You just have to be careful and fill it. Bend it a little bit without the ruler, and then use the ruler to make a straight edge. You can see it a bit here. How the roller is exactly on the edge, and you just push your fingers against it. And you will have a straight edge in the end. Okay, that was good. And now we can just bend them upwards. And it's something that has a straight edge, like this SSD case, right? We line up the ruler, pick up the part, bend it upwards a bit, and then use the straight edge to push it against the ruler, right? That's it. Then you have a pretty good bend. Something like this. This is how it should look. I made the mistake of bending from this edge to this edge from the back side. But yeah, you have to bend at the edge of the collar. Good. Use the ruler, the edge of your knife to raise it a bit, and then use a straight edge. Perfect. Something like that. So for glue I use this B7000 glue from AliExpress. This is a great glue for what we're doing, but you can use whatever you have. Let's start with the simplest part, which is this. As you can see right here, it says do not glue this flap. So this part here needs to be free. So I'm gonna bend it upwards just so I won't make any mistakes. But these two we're gonna glue together like this. Right? Not this one. This one remains free. But these two, we're gonna sandwich them together. I'm gonna take this one and put it on top and just press it down really hard. Okay, so now we have it sandwiched together. You can put something heavy on it if you have something heavy nearby. There's a rock right here. I leave it for a few seconds or minutes or whatever. See, this one is perfect. There's no waving, nothing. It's just perfectly straight. So far so good. So first of all, make sure all your flaps are properly folded. So these two come inside. And the one on top here, it needs to be bent on the outside, pointing outward, right? Not inward in the case, outward. Same on the other side, right? These two are folded inside, but the one on the top needs to be pointing outwards. Okay. We should just bend this one all the way down. Same with this other side. Bend this one all the way down. And now you have to fold it like this. Put the flaps inside. This one come on top of it, like this. And that's how we need to glue them together. Let's use some glue. And these flaps too. Both sides. On the flap that points outside, we need to put some glue on the side that has no ink on it. We have some glue on the inside of all these flaps, on the outside of the flaps on the edges, and on the white side of the flap that points outwards, right? We push this one inside and we fold over the top part. We push it to have a straight edge here. Make sure you have push it inside, right until the edge of it. Then you press it down. Do the same thing on the other side. You press it inside, all the way in, and then you fold it over. Like this. And then you press it here too. This. So we did the same thing on the other side. We just fold it together. Like this. It comes inside. Make sure the edges are straight down. Okay. And then you can press them together. They meet exactly in the corner, right? So push this one inside, like this, press it down, and then this flap needs to be pressed in here, on the side.
Okay, and then you can just press it out, right here.
Now we have the bottom part of the case. We can bend it a bit here. Now it's not very rigid yet, but after we add the other parts, it will become very sturdy. Now this other part is the part with the quote on it, right? It's a quote from, well, this quote is not from the movie, but it's from the actual box of the movie, right? And what we need to do is to glue it on the side that says, well, not open cover, but on the side that says quote side. This is the quote side. So we need to glue it in place this part that's a bit grayish, just like the part of the top of the case which is grayish. We need to glue it right here in place. So I'm just gonna put some glue on the side of it. On the cold side, you take the part with the quote and you glue it on top of it exactly like this. Make sure everything is properly aligned. Just press it against itself. So far so good. So now we have to add some glue on this white part and on both the flaps on the side. On this one, on this flap on the side, on the white part here at the bottom, and on this other flap. Make sure you don't fold the flaps too much on the inside. Let them have a bit of tension that pushes them on the outside. Otherwise, it's very difficult to glue them to this side. Same with this one. Just bend it upwards a bit, because you cannot get your finger inside to press against it here. So you'll have to rely on the tension in the paper. Okay. Now, you just push them inside, like this. With this one too. And then just fold it inside like this. Right? Make it like a square box and push the sides in. Just double check to see if this part is properly at a 90-degree angle, so you don't want it to be at an angle like that. Just make sure it's properly inside there, right? Like this, and hope for the best. Now, what we need to do is glue this open cover side. This one we will not glue it, we just bend it inside, right? And we need to glue this part, right? This part on the inside, we need to glue it right over here, like this. So, not this one. This one needs to be inside of the box. You can just put it like this, right? Just slide that on inside of the box, like that. And just glue the upper part. Make sure you put enough glue on this side because it will open and close the box here, right? And just push it together like this. Right. Now we can open it and make sure you press it down really well. Over here. Let me show you. Press it down on the inside. Over here. Okay, so now we just make sure this one is properly flexible here, so we can pinch it a bit to bend it more, so it won't keep the case open. And this flap inside, this one needs to be free because it moves up and down, up and down. We cannot glue that one down. What you can do, you can bend this one the other way around, but after you make sure that this one is properly glued down. Just bend it open, bend it close again, just to make sure. This one will definitely crack over here when you bend it both ways, but this one needs to open and close, so that's just how it is. You should also bend this one, this flap. You should bend it a few times just to make sure it's very, very flexible. Okay, so now we have the box. We need to put the inside of the box. You can see this problem here. This one happens sometimes. If it doesn't stick properly with the glue that you use and it opens up, just take a bit of super glue and put it inside there. Oh, I put a little bit too much. I have to wipe it off. The super glue will make it dry instantly and it will create a very, very strong bond. Once it's dry, it won't come apart again. Okay, now it's much better. Okay, let's put this one aside. Now we have to glue this part in place. So we have this one, but we need to push these two flaps. We need to push them upwards. Make sure they're up like this, right? Then take some glue and put on the bottom of this flap here, on the bottom of this, and here too, on the bottom of it. Good. Now take this one and we just sit it down inside this. Make sure you glue it to these flaps like this. Now we put some glue on these outer flaps, a bit here, and we just push it down and glue it to the other one on the inside. On this one right here, we need to glue them together. Same thing here, this one to this one on the inside. This is how it should look on the inside. Now the next type of tray is this one right here. And this one is made to fit 2 watches in a shroud, like the Ripley prop from the movie. And you can make your own shrouds like this one. Let's just first glue this one in place. So we have to put glue on the bottom edges of these things, right? Except here. Make sure you only put glue on the upper part and not on this side over here. That is cut off because that's where the strap should slip through. So let's put some glue on it. Only on the top and on the edges. Okay, here at the bottom. Okay, so here only on the top and on the edges right here. And this one on the bottom of all of these flaps. Even these tiny little ones. Okay. Then we get this part here, then we should not bend it like I did here by mistake. Just take this one on and put it in place over there and glue it to the parts that were inside. and make sure that this part opens up. See? And I push on it, it opens up. Opens here. Okay, so for the sleeve, what we should do first is glue these two pieces together right here at the spine of the sleeve. You just glue them like this, one on top of the other. Let's put some glue on it. Just align them properly. Good, alright. We'll need to use the cassette, and we'll use it as a guide. Make sure you have all the folds properly folded. Both of these edges should be on the inside. This one and the top one, right? You need to put glue on the outside part of it, right here. The top one, you need to put glue on the outside part of it. On this side. And on this side. We fold them together. It's a bit tricky here right at the edge, but once you go over it, it will fall in place like this. And the same thing here on the other side. Now once you have it like this, the best thing to do is to try and get the cassette in. Push this one in first, properly inside, then this one. Make sure the edges are straight here. Same here. This bent right here, I'm not sure what happened to it. It doesn't want to stay inside properly. What I did, I took this part apart and I pulled on it, and it got the corner to fit properly inside. And then it sits fine now. That was it. Now make sure that the cassette fits. We can pinch it a bit to make it sit better. And that's it. Now we have both of our Casio Ripley and the Back to the Future. You can actually see how much better the edges are with the second method than with the first. I try to make them look like their original cases. I'm gonna put an image on the screen somewhere here so you can see the differences. This is how they look. So, what do you think?